What's up, ladies? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that everyone is having an amazing day, feeling as beautiful externally, feeling beautiful internally and externally. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Share this live video with a friend. Today, I'm going to be discussing how to embrace 10 ways to embrace and activate your feminine energy so that you're able to shape, shift, and transform your reality. And on this channel, it's all about growth and actually inspiring and empowering yourself to be able to live a life and cultivate a life that you truly desire, moving from your head to your heart. Because living in today's world and society, it is easy to operate and dominate in masculine energy because of things that possibly happened in your life, right? And I'll share some things that happened in my life that caused me to be in survival mode, or feeling like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders and you're not sure which way to turn, or there maybe you experienced abuse. I've experienced abuse in my past, so all of these things can cause you to feel unsafe within your body, and then your emotions get trapped in the body, so you're more rigid, you're trying to control things, and control looks different for everyone, right? But I'll be discussing all of these things in this video and also in upcoming videos, and how you're able to release your limited beliefs so that you can transcend them to operate and be in your most authentic self, right? To actually attract things to you, and to feel safe within your body, and to create the life that you truly desire. Because we all have like dreams, even if you're unaware of what your actual dream or vision is. You have been given one. You've been given a purpose when you were created in this world. So it is up to you to utilize the tools that you receive and use your experience to cultivate that lifestyle that you actually truly desire. So I know I said a lot, but let's jump right into the topic. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes so that I could be more organized or whatever. So as far as feminine and masculine energy, feminine energy is really your nurturing side, that creative side, the intuition, right? That inner knowing that things are happening, or being able to step into the unknown, right? And still be in flow, to be able to pivot and adjust to whatever is happening around you, because you have that peace within, right? That peace that surpasses all understanding. So these are just some of the traits of feminine energy, right? Being able to receive, so being receptive and tapping into your feelings. So I think a lot of times, like in the world, it's like it's easy to say like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Right? It's always connected so much to doing versus how you are feeling. And the thing about it is that our feelings is the thing that helps us to create. However, a lot of times we're disconnected from our own bodies because of things that happen in our past. And I'll just dive into some of the things that I've experienced in my life. So I lived a lot of my life in survival mode because I experienced sexual abuse as a child, and I've also been in domestic violence relationships. So, the things that happened in my childhood actually shaped a lot of my life, because I was disconnected from my own self, my own body, my intuition. And it always has been there. I've always been feminine, and we are all also masculine, right? Feminine and masculine is not gender based. We all have both energies, but it's important to balance it, right? So I lean more into my masculine, like control, being forceful, assertive, protecting, and always providing, always giving, always doing, not being able to rest and be okay with resting, right? Being more rigid and less playful. So because of some of the things that I experienced, I also experienced being homeless in my life before, living in a shelter, me and my oldest son, this was years ago, right? So these are some of the things that caused me to operate so heavily in my masculine energy. So if you experienced any of these things, I can totally relate to that. And of course, there is numerous of things that can cause this experience in your life. So there's nothing wrong with you. It is okay if you are, you know, operating more in your masculine, especially like having to go to work and, you know, have that mask and be assertive and, you know, protecting yourself and having to be, sometimes, you know, they say like being women, you can be aggressive or whatever. There's so many reasons for that. So there's nothing wrong. It's just a way, it is just a way that you're using 9 times out of 10 to protect yourself, because you don't want to experience hurt that you experienced in your past, or you don't want anyone to get, you know, too close to you to violate your safe space. There's so many things I can go on and on. But like I was saying, as far as like femininity, it is really being able to receive and not to do everything on your own. I got this, I got this. It is okay to have it. It is okay to be able to create and do things on your own, but it's also okay to accept help and support, right? And sometimes we don't know how to do that because we've been out of balance, or we've given so much or not been given that we are just in a place of like, I got this, I'm gonna do it on my own, I don't need any help, I don't need anyone to support me, or whatever the case is. So it's important to go from the doing to the being, because if you're so like in the doing, how are you able to like relax and be able to just like cultivate peace with yourself, like create activities that bring joy into your life? And I'm not just saying like go on vacation and have fun with your friends, or, you know, like just being able to sit with yourself, sit with your thoughts, know what you are actually feeling, right? These are things that are so important, especially to your health, right? I've also experienced like dis-ease within my body, which is like disease or whatever, over some years ago. And sometimes if I'm doing too much, it will pop back up, like eczema or something like that. It'll pop back up. And it's just a reminder for me to like create that balance in my life. So I want to move into some ways that you are able to embrace and activate your feminine energy. So one way that you're able to do that is ask yourself, how are you feeling? Right? It is easy to say, to be logical, right? That is definitely a masculine energy, and it's okay to have that because it is a part of you. However, understanding how you are feeling can tell you a lot about what's going on in your body, where it is that you need to create boundaries for yourself, so that you're able to feel safe in different environments, right? So how are you feeling? And if you're not sure how you are feeling, that's okay as well. That is a thing. Think about like, what are you thinking? Because your thoughts create feelings within your body, and your feelings actually are connected to your thoughts. So either way, it doesn't matter which way you go, you are going to be able to tap into you. So asking yourself, like when you wake up in the morning or throughout the day, how am I feeling? Where is this feeling in my body? Is it in my chest? Like, I know that there are times in my life where I experienced loss or whatever. Like I experienced loss of my car at one point in time, and I was like walking and I realized that I was feeling shameful, and it was in my chest area, right, connected to my heart. So just asking yourself, like, what are you feeling? Are you experiencing dis-ease in your body, like some inflammation, or, you know, some people experience illness. Sometimes it could be terminal, not terminal, headaches, like just different things that go on in the body, heartburn, that are connected to emotions that we are feeling and unaware of because we've buried them for so long, like buried our feminine energy, ability to feel, ability to be in peace, of ability to feel safe, right? So how are you feeling, right? And when you are asking yourself how you're feeling, like look for something to be in gratitude for, and set an intention for yourself, maybe at the beginning of the day, so that when things may, you know, not go the way that you desire, you can look back at that intention and say, okay, this is what I'm creating in my day. This is what I can be grateful for, right? Gratitude can change so many things, right? And so another way you can do that is spend time in nature, because when you spend time in nature, it allows you to slow down, like spend time near water, depending on where you live, of course. Like if you live in the city, you may want to go find like a park. Like I used to live in Brooklyn, so Prospect Park will be a place, Central Park. Find a park where there's like lots of trees, there's water, and maybe lakes, that you're able to like sit near and just hear the water flowing, hear the water like, yeah, hear the water flowing, or you hear birds singing. You are able to connect with the trees. And connecting doesn't mean like the trees are going to make you feel a thing, but you can look at the trees and see like a tree doesn't move, but it's sturdy, right? It is created through Mother Nature. Feminine energy is connected to Mother Nature. A lot of the characteristics of Mother Nature creation, like a tree starts from a seed, but when you see the seed, you don't necessarily know that it's going to be what kind of tree it's going to be, right? But you water it and you nurture that seed, that soil, so that the tree is able to grow and flourish, right? You give it an environment where it is safe and it is given the ability to grow. Or even flowers, right? The delicacy of flowers. So definitely getting out in nature and even walking barefoot, right? Because we're energy. We are energetic beings. And when you walk barefoot, and I'm saying this from experience, you are able to transcend the energy into your body through your feet into the earth, and also receive energy from the earth into your body. And this probably sounds so like, what am I talking about? But these things actually work when you do it over time. So another thing that you can do is breathing. So the thing about breathing is these are very simple steps, but when you're intentional about the way that you're breathing. So from experience, I used to breathe from my chest area, right? And it was very shallow breathing. So I wasn't really connecting to my body. So what I had to do was like, even if it's just only 5 minutes out of the day, where I'm able to breathe into my stomach and then out through my mouth or nose, whatever feels comfortable for you, to connect to my body, then it's like I'm breathing into my gut. Like your gut is, some people say your second brain. To me, it's just a brain. Like, when you get that gut feeling. So if you're able to like practice breathing, like even if it's for 5 minutes, like you're intentional about it. And then over time, you may realize that you did have shallow breathing. And shallow breathing is like sometimes we're holding our breath and we don't even realize it. It sounds so crazy, but it is so, it is a thing. Like when I started to be intentional about my breathing, I would realize like sometimes I would catch myself holding my breath. So it's like you're cutting yourself off from life, right? Because to breathe into your stomach, that is your digestion. That is where you process things that you're eating. This is where you have that gut feeling. Like the sayings like, oh, did you get that gut feeling? People talk about it, but not as to the extent of how deep it is. So breathing is definitely a way that you're able to connect to your body, connect to your spirit, right? Your internal being, so that you are able to trust your intuition. Breathing is life. That is my sense of safety, right? So if anything is going on outside of me, regardless of what it is, if it's chaotic or just something that may not be chaotic to someone else, or it may be okay for someone else, but maybe it's triggering for me, I am able to breathe and bring myself back to a safe space. Now, with me saying this, like when you first start doing it, or when, in some situations we're human, so it might not just be like automatic, but it is a very good way to be intentional about connecting to your body, the way you're feeling and what's going on within you, right? So another way to exercise, like being playful, is singing, dancing, and stretching, right? So whenever you get a chance, you can Google or go on YouTube and look up hip exercises, right? Because there's a lot of emotions that get trapped in our hips. And when you're able to release that and be able to stretch and dance and sing, it's a form of self-expression. It is a way that you're able to release and also connect to your body, connect and create more mobility and flexibility within your body. And that way, whatever's happening internally is what you're seeing external. The reason why things are happening on external, because our perception is only what we are perceiving from what is going on inside of us. So how you see things outside of you is a reflection on how what's going on inside sometimes, right? Because I mean, someone could be harm could be happening across the street. That doesn't mean that's what's going on inside of you, right? But a lot of times what we see on the outside or what we're experiencing has a lot to do with what is going on the inside of us. So being able to sing, dance, and stretch your body, it gives you the ability to create more flexibility in your life, more self-expression, and being able to move your body, like be in flow, like just whatever works for you. Everyone is different. So these are just some things that I use and that I share with some of my clients to be able to connect to their feminine energy and to get to get out of like that masculine way of being all the time, like always doing, always having to control the situation that is going on in outside of you, right? Because there's a lack of safety that you feel within yourself. And another thing, before I even move on, I know sometimes I used to say this, and I hear women say it sometimes, like when they're dealing with men or people, it's like, I'm not going to be feminine unless you show me that you're masculine. And what I would like to say about that, I understand the concept of that. However, our femininity is not based on other people's actions. It is not based on if someone shows you they're masculine, because regardless if someone is a man or whatever they consider themselves to be, you're still a woman at the end of the day, the beginning and the end of the day. So it is up to you to embrace the energy that is within yourself. And maybe if something doesn't feel safe, it is up to you to be able to say, you know what, this is not for me, it is not working for me, and I'm going to remove myself from this situation. So now you are using your masculine energy as well to control how you are responding to the situation versus reacting. So it's not dependent on what someone does or what someone says, or I'm not going to show this part of me until you show me this part of you. And discernment is very important. But to be able to discern things, it is important to be connected to your body. So that's where, like going back to the breathing, that's where that comes in as well. So moving forward, being able to rest without guilt. So resting can look so many ways. It's like sleep is one form of resting, but resting your mind is another form, because like depending on what you're watching and you're intaking, what you're reading, your mind is moving and always thinking and always having thoughts going on throughout the day. So are you able to rest your mind? Are you able to take a nap or sleep without feeling guilty, like you always have something to do, right? Because there's always going to be things to do. But the ability to sleep is very important. The ability to rest your body, your mind, body, and soul is so important to your health. It is so important to your wealth. It is so important to your being overall. So to be able to go from like the doing to being is so important. So are you able to rest without feeling guilty? This is another way that you can see if you're operating in your flowing in your feminine energy, right? Give yourself permission to be able to do that. And even if you feel guilty at first because you have a million things going on, like a lot of times we have family, we have children, we have tasks and responsibilities that are waiting for us or that are calling for our attention. But this is why it is important to create a balance, because you cannot pour from an empty glass. And from experience, what I'm going to say is that if you do not rest, take the time to take care of yourself. This is a part of self-love and self-care, self-maintenance. All of it is connected, right? It is going to show up eventually. You can do and do and do, ignore how you feel. I know, like on social media and, in the world, period, society is like, oh, you got to get this done. Don't pay attention to how you feel. Don't let that control you. And the thing about it is, if you don't pay attention to that, is almost like ignoring yourself. It's like ignoring a part of who you are. And if you don't pay attention to that, eventually it's going to show up. It's going to show up possibly in your triggers, your attitude. It's going to show up in your overall being, like how you're showing up. It will show up in your physical appearance over time. Like, yes, you can wear makeup, you can get enhancements, and you can do all of these things. However, what is happening internally will eventually show up externally. So I think I said before, like if you experience disease or illness in your body, a lot of times it's connected to emotions that have been buried and things that you forgot about, that's like sitting there in your subconscious, that is actually controlling you in your awakened life, in your conscious life, right? So anything that shows up in the body a lot of times is because there's something that needs your attention, something that needs your healing. So when it shows up in this way in the external experience, guess what? It's like your body is screaming for you to pay attention to it, right? Your internal being, your soul is screaming for you, like, hey, I need you. Hey, I need you to pay attention, right? Because if you notice, like, pay attention, you literally are wealthy, you're rich, because what you give your attention to, you're paying. You pay attention to. So being able to rest is super important, like putting yourself first and saying no to things at times and saying yes to yourself without guilt or shame, right? Because a lot of times we've been taught, to be the good girl or to give, right? Because that is an important way to receive. However, if you continuously give and not give yourself time to receive, resting is a way of receiving. It's a way for your mind to be able to recalibrate and to heal and to process things that you've gone through throughout the day and just throughout your life. Right? So if you're experiencing things in your body and externally, even like you're experiencing maybe chaos in your relationships or in your home, like things being all over the place, then that is important for you to understand that you need rest so that you're able to give energy, like, to other people and other things, and to be able to pour from a glass that is full and overflowing, right? Because you've been given life and given it abundantly, but you can't keep giving if you're not receiving, right? So it is important to create that balance and to rest. Rest is so important. I'll go into more about this in more videos upcoming, but let me move forward, because that was 5 of the 10 ways that I talked about in regards to embracing and activating your feminine energy. And this one is very big. So number 6, I probably should have put this as the first one, but forgiveness. So forgiveness is so important because forgiveness is for you. It is not for the other person. Yes, it is impossible sometimes to forget what people have done to you or the way that people made you feel. But the forgiveness is for you so that you're able to free up your mind and really actually like open up your heart to have a soft, like the softness that people talk about in femininity. Like, it's important. Yeah, the appearance is important, and I will get to that, but it's really about your heart posture. So if you have things like resentment that you feel, or even if you feel guilty about things that you've done maybe in your past, or maybe things that you're going through right now that is causing you to blame yourself, blame other people, it puts you into victim mode, right? And unforgiveness also causes like disease in the body, illnesses. All of it is like connected. Like, it's important. It's easy to go to the doctor and get, prescription or medical care and stuff like that, but that's external. So what is happening internally that is causing this to happen? So if you're possibly holding on to resentment, and sometimes we don't know that we're doing that, but if you're holding on to resentment or guilt or shame, being embarrassed about the things that you're going through, guess what? It's going to be hard to move forward, and you're going to feel stuck. You're not going to be able to create, because all of those emotions are in the body, right? Your body feels these things. So the body always keeps score, and it never forgets the things that you've gone through. So you may never forget, but it's important for you to forgive, right? And yes, it's easy to say, yes, I forgive you, but do you really forgive? When you are around that person or thing, are you still being triggered? And if you are, it's okay, right? These are ways that if you have feelings stored in your body. And forgiveness does not always mean rekindling relationships, or you have to be in connection with that person, right? No, you don't have to be in connection or still be in relationship with someone who is creating an unsafe environment for you, or who have done things to you that has made you feel uncomfortable, that has made you feel unsafe, or who has done things that has triggered you, right? Your triggers are your responsibility, so let me be very clear for that. But you don't have to be in relationship with these people or these things just because you forgave them. So I think sometimes that is a big confusion when it comes to forgiveness, right? So it's really up to you and what works for you. There's no one way of doing things, but forgiveness is actually for you. Give yourself grace. Give people grace, because a lot of times people are actually operating from a place of pain. So when people hurt you, guess what? They are, I mean, some people may do it intentionally. So I'm not going to just try to like let people off the hook. But a lot of times people are not doing things intentionally. They're doing things because they're operating from their pain, because someone possibly did something to them that made them feel unsafe. So the way that people actually get back or feel comfortable or safe within themselves is by them actually doing something to you that causes pain. So forgiveness is for you. It is actually for you, and understanding that you may never know why someone did something, and they may not know why they did it. So to actually wait for closure from someone, it's almost like a waste of time, and it's almost like setting yourself up to continue being resentful, because some people may pass away and never apologize. Some people don't even know why they're doing what they did. And sometimes we also don't know. So that's where that scripture comes in, like, forgive them for they not know what they do, right? So forgiveness is super important, so that you're able to free yourself. Like, the freedom that you seek, that you're possibly seeking, is really within yourself. So that's number 6. And then number 7, I have slow down. So slowing down, that can be connected to resting, right? But when I say slow down, something I had to take into account for myself at on some days, and I still do this from time to time, because growing is an ongoing process. It's not something like, okay, I did this and I'm done. It's never going to be happening again, right? So slowing down is really understanding that, guess what? Everything does not have to get done in one day. It is okay. Like, if you find yourself always rushing from one thing to the next, or you don't even give yourself to be able to bask or celebrate your accomplishments, or celebrate even things that you may consider a small win. You watching this video today may be a small win for you, right? Or maybe a big win for you. Like I said, it's whatever works for you. Then you're not actually like celebrating yourself. You're not giving yourself, like, creating that momentum and excitement for yourself, being able to have that time for self-reflection, to see why things are happening in your life, what things are happening in your life, and how you're able to move forward and do something else, or adjust or pivot in your situations. If you're going from one thing to the next and not slowing down, it's like you're always in a rush, right? What else do I have? Being intentional about what it is that you're doing. So maybe you have a list, like you're a person that likes to create lists, or, and be intentional about what it is that you want to create. So I said this before in regards to how you're feeling, like to have gratitude, to express gratitude, be intentional. So being intentional, right? So if you're able to slow down, you're able to respond to situations and your environment versus reacting. So this is something I had to also realize. Like, I was always in a rush. Oh my goodness, hurry up, hurry. It was always like, listen to your language too. How do you speak? Are you saying like you need to do something with urgency, or are you saying like, hurry up, like, let's go. We gotta get going. It's always like, hurry up, hurry up. That was one form of language that I was using. And I would always like forget my keys, not know where my wallet is, like little things like that. Like, like you need to like slow down, and give yourself time to process, to be able to think, to be able to feel throughout your day, right? Creating a routine for yourself when you wake up in the morning is really another form of like self-care. And I think that's one of the things I have on the list. So I'm gonna go into that. Well, I don't have that, so I'm gonna just share that. But creating a routine for yourself. So when you wake up in the morning, are you checking your phone first thing first when you wake up, or do you just jump up and just go straight in the shower? Do you just jump up and tend to your kids or the responsibilities around the house? Do you give yourself enough time to actually breathe and possibly like say some affirmations to speak positive to yourself, right? Meditate. So meditation is one of the ways that I also have on the one of the ways to embrace and activate your feminine energy. So meditation is super important. It's one way that you can do this. There's different forms of meditation. You can do walking meditation where you're spending time in nature and just observing, you know, the unique qualities maybe of the tree or flower, you know, or the grass. Is so simple. But then when you start to pay attention, you're giving yourself time to process. You're giving yourself time to think when you're meditating, right? And when I say think, it's like you're being the observer of the thoughts that you have. I used to think that meditating was a form of controlling your thoughts. However, I'm not going to say that's what it is. I think it's more of a form of like observing your thoughts. Like if you're sitting on a park bench and you see people passing by, you're not going to stop every single person and tell them what you like and what you don't like, right? Maybe you stop a few, the people who you do like something and you want to give a compliment. However, if there's something that you don't like, you're not going to stop every single person and like, I don't like your shoes, I don't like your shirt. It's the same thing with our thoughts. So you observe the thought, and you say, like, you sit down, you give yourself time to slow down, and you see it and you're like, okay, I see that, but I'm not going to interact with it. You know, like, let's say there's a thought like, oh, I can't do this because it's like, is that really true, or is that just a limited belief, right? You allow it to pass you by, and you can replace those thoughts with things that are more empowering, more uplifting for you, right? If you are trying to meditate and you have a hard time being able to observe your thoughts or know what you're thinking, or having a hard time for your thoughts to slow down, another way you can do this is, I wish I would have got a candle, but you can get a candle and light it or whatever, and then you pay attention. You can sit with the candle in front of you and you pay attention to the candle. You're paying attention to the flame of the candle. So now you're able to give yourself, even if it's 1 minute or 2 minutes, you're able to give yourself time to focus on something without having to interact with every single thought that is happening in your mind. And at first it can be challenging or whatever because you're not accustomed to it. But once you do it over time, you take the candle, you light it, and you look at the flame, and you will start to see, like, you're just looking at the flame, you're focusing on the flame. You will notice when your thoughts are drifting off into something else. Like, there's been times when I've done that or whatever, or I could just be meditating and I noticed that I probably wouldn't even catch myself going into another thought, but then I'm like, wait, what was I even thinking? You know? So meditation is an important way to observe what it is that you are thinking. It's another way for you to be able to slow down. And then once you're able to do this, you'll start to see why you are feeling the ways that you're feeling. There will be things that will come up for you. And this is over time, right? It doesn't just happen overnight. And maybe you're a more seasoned meditator. I don't know. Like, maybe you're accustomed to this already. Like, you take what works for you. It's like a meal. You eat what fills you up, and the rest you discard or you put it away for later, right? So it's an invitation, but you don't got to go everywhere that you're invited. It's something that I like to say. So another way, I'm gonna move into the more physical part, right? This is what a lot of people talk about, and this is what I used to think femininity was about, like appearance. So I used to think, honestly speaking, I had a lot of issues with body shaming growing up because of what I experienced possibly in my childhood. And there wasn't any reinforcing, like empowering beliefs that were given to me or shared with me, or someone saying, hey, you're beautiful, you can do this. Like, these things matter, right? So I used to think, oh, I don't have big boobs, or I don't have a big butt, so I'm not feminine, I'm shaped like a boy, or my features weren't like other people. So comparison, right? So a lot of these things, I used to think you had to wear a certain color. So I'm wearing pink today, but I actually love pink. Like, that is just a color one of the colors that I love. But wearing pink does not make you feminine, right? Wearing a certain color or a certain outfit, having a certain body shape does not make you feminine, doesn't make you like exude your feminine energy, I would say, because you are feminine actually, right? It's just, are you embracing that and are you activating it and walking in that energy? But these are not things that determine your femininity. Femininity is an energy. It is not only based on appearance. It is not only based on the things that are on the outside. So like I said before, you can be dressed really nice but have a very nasty attitude. You can be dressed really nice and have on makeup and have the nice shoes, the nice bags, the nice things on the outside that look feminine, but if your heart is not in a graceful place, a compassionate place, right, an empathetic place, it depends on your heart posture, right? If there's not peace within, then are you actually embracing and activating and walking in your feminine energy? So I know I went on a rant just now, but just giving you some insight on the things that I used to think made me feminine and why I would always think that I wasn't feminine. But it was really more so about my heart posture. It was really about like forgiveness and things like that. However, like I said, appearance. So I want to like stick to that right now. So some of the ways that you can start to cultivate that is wearing lingerie when you are going to sleep. And you don't need to, I used to think, well, I ain't got no man right now, so why do I need to put on lingerie? But it's really for you, right? It allows you to feel more soft, right, and connected to your body. It makes you feel, I'm gonna say sexy, like, but you're doing it for yourself versus doing it for someone else. Wearing lingerie, wearing like silky pajamas, if you're able to put like silk sheets on your bed or softer cotton, like if you are able to wear like more flowing clothing. So before, I hated wearing clothing that was like flowy because I felt like I was slim, so it's like you can't really see my body, and I already had that like whole like, I actually believe, I was never diagnosed, but I believe I definitely had I think it's body dysmorphia or something like that. That's a whole nother video that I will get into for body shaming. But like I said, like wearing more flowing clothing, right, it allows you to flow, like release your energy and not be so rigid, right? I used to think I had to wear tight clothes. I used to think if you wear like show your skin, then that's what's feminine, and that's because that's things that are portrayed online, and that's what that's what we see a lot of times, right? If you don't know, you don't know. You're creating from something, from just what you think, like you don't know. So there's no one saying this is what it is or this is what it's not, but like your feminine energy is, you're sacred, right? It is like your body is like that. It is your temple. What are the things that you're actually eating, right? The things you're putting inside of your body has a lot to do with how you are going to appear in your physical being, how you show up, right? So taking 30-minute showers sometimes, 30+ minute shower, like not showers, baths. And, maybe you want to get some essential oils and, put them in the water, lavender, so you can like relax, or, peppermint oil allows like cooling off, so there's different ways to go about this. However, everything that you do internally is going to show up externally. But as far as the physical appearance, yes, how you show up in the world, it is super important to show up. Do your hair. Do not, when I was young, I used to wear my hair like however. And I remember there weren't women who were actually saying, hey, this is feminine or this is not feminine. This is how you be a woman. Or it was more shaming, like, oh, why you got that? Why you look like that? It wasn't like a welcoming or compassionate and empathetic, like, hey, let me show you. And then there were women who did do that. So I wasn't in a place to be able to receive, because I also thought I knew everything when I was younger, right? But, you live and you learn. So taking care of your skin, when you get out the shower, are you taking showers and like, okay, I'm going to get in the shower just bathing or whatever? Because when I say shower, people are like, well, aren't you supposed to shower anyway? But when I say shower, I mean like taking your time and actually rubbing your body, actually caring about how you make yourself feel when you are taking a shower. When you get out the shower, looking at your body in the mirror and actually embracing maybe the parts of you that you don't feel comfortable with. Like I used to have an issue like feeling like, oh, I had small boobs. So it's like, I remember when I was like 12, I used to stuff my bra because all the girls had breasts. this. I was like, what's wrong with me? But it's nothing wrong. We just all have different body shapes, sizes. You know, we come in different shapes and forms, and it's okay. So to get in front of the mirror and embrace your physical appearance, embrace your body. This is your temple. This is the thing that is carrying you throughout life, that is allowing you to get through the things that you're going through, right? It is with you, even when you don't treat it well, you know. So using candles in your home is another way, right? So yes, the appearance is important, but that is really the maintenance, like how you're taking care of something. If you love something, you take care of it. If you care about something, you maintain it, right? So like getting your nails done, and you know, maybe if you are into wearing makeup, that's up to you. Doing your hair, these are all external physical appearance and ways of being, but it's a way of taking care of yourself, right? Externally, that matches your internal. So last but not least, what I have on the list is dating yourself. Okay, so I'm smiling so hard. Like, it is so important for you to give yourself the things that you want to receive from other people or other experiences. So dating yourself, maybe you want to take yourself on spa dates. Maybe you want to cook yourself dinner and have a candlelit dinner with yourself, or take yourself out like for walks in the park. Like, just to do different things. Like, maybe you want to actually buy yourself flowers, like admire the beauty of the flowers. Like, if you want, think about what it is that you may want in a relationship, whether that be platonic or romantic, and start to give those things to yourself. Start to date yourself. Don't wait for someone to do it for you, because you're going to attract the people that are going to treat, you're going to attract what it is that is for you. And then because you're treating yourself well, you're dating yourself, you're doing these things for yourself. When someone is doing something that is not in alignment with your energy, that is not in alignment with what is for your highest good, you're going to be able to determine, is this for me or is it not for me? Right? So yeah, those are some ways. So I'll just go over it's already been like 40 minutes. I don't want to, be too long. So I'm just going to go over the ways that I said without detail. So 1, ask yourself, how are you feeling? And express gratitude when you wake up throughout your day and set an intention. 2, spending time in nature. 3, breathing exercises. 4, singing, dancing, and stretching your body. 5, resting without guilt or shame. And 6, forgiveness. Please do not forget that, right? 7, slowing down, taking your time, and allowing yourself to be intentional, allowing yourself to do some self-reflection work. And 8, meditation. And if you need to, you can rewind and see what I spoke about in regards to meditation. And then 9, something that a lot of people talk about, is the appearance. Like, how are you showing up in the world? How are you dressing? How are you doing your hair? Are you doing your hair? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you getting your nails done? Like, these are not the more essential pieces, but it is a part of, embracing your femininity and doing what feels comfortable for you. And like I said, you do not have to wear pink to be feminine. Whatever works for you, your body tone, whatever makes you feel good, right? And last but not least, dating yourself, right? And I didn't say this, but one way to also, like, that I use, I would say, is like faith. What source do you believe in? Like God. I believe that there are multiple religions. I am not that person that you better believe in this or you better believe in that. I believe in God. I do believe in Jesus, but I also believe that there are different religions that work for different people. So whatever that source is for you, tapping into that so that you're able to like build your confidence. I use scriptures a lot of times to be able to build my confidence and to like sustain that. And fashion is a way that I am able to play. Like, I love dressing up. So that is, for me, ways that work for me, allow me to be calm. These are things that allow me to cultivate peace within my life, to cultivate calmness and forgiveness, and tapping into my sensuality, spirituality, using my wisdom right now, self-expression. So hopefully this video was able to support you and you were able to take away something from this that you're able to incorporate in your day moving forward, and you're able to share this with someone that you know, leave comments. Feel free to reach out to me with whatever your story is. And one thing I like to say is we all have a story. We all have been through things and we all have experiences, but there is life beyond the story. I love you. I embrace you. You are not in this alone. And peace, love, and harmony. Have an amazing day. And don't forget to tap back in. I'm going to be having some more videos posted. All right, y'all. Love you, ladies. Bye.